Hello once again from the Prim Reaper. I'm in the process of working on the second half of the misuse of racism videos, but while I was out the other day, I wrote a brief rant on a post that I've been seeing on my Facebook feed. And yes, unfortunately, I do mean unironically. I figured while I was working on the other one, I would put this out there in the meantime. So, first, the image in question. If you're promoting changes to women's behavior to prevent rape, you're really saying, make sure he rapes the other girl. And then someone immediately chimes in with an insightful addition to the discussion. I have never thought about it in this context. That's actually really creepy. Oh my god, you guys, this is so deep. I never wow, I once pointed this out to my mother and she just stared at me in stunned silence for ages. And then the whole bus stood up and clapped and the bus driver was Albert Einstein, right? No, dude, she's probably staring at you because she can't believe you just said something so asinine to her. How about, instead of all of this overanalyzing teenage melodrama, if we just told all people to be equally careful and take reasonable precautions when partying or traveling at night, maybe nobody would get attacked. Way to twist what should be an empowering and charge-taking bit of advice and turn it into something malevolent. I mean, aren't you types the ones always complaining about women being objectified and treated like they have no agency? These women aren't just passive objects drifting through the world waiting for the rapist in question to pounce on them. They're people who are capable of taking their personal safety into their own hands and making informed decisions to avoid situations in which they have no control over what happens to them. But nope, not only do you want to take all that personal agency away in this little scenario, you want to go a step further and place the blame yet another level away on the person trying to suggest ways that these women can keep themselves safe. Because, I don't know, maybe they care about them or something and don't want anything bad to happen? Nope, it's all because they're victim blamers and women haters, am I right? Okay, let's look at the logistics of human interactions for a moment. When I'm talking to someone and telling that person to be careful, I have direct contact with them and the possibility to impact their life and the way they make decisions. If I remind a friend leaving my house to look both ways before they cross the nearby road, they might have a light bulb moment that they otherwise wouldn't have had as they're coming up to the busy street and look over their shoulder just in time to see someone careening through the intersection. My direct interaction with my friend allowed me to have an effect on their behavior which altered their course of action, which prevented them from getting hit by the guy driving recklessly. Now, what other elements of that situation did I have direct control of? That's right, none. The driver of the car is a separate agent entirely out of the realm of my influence. Because I didn't know that person and have no impact over how that person lives their life, I could have done nothing to stop him from driving like a dummy and possibly killing someone. At most, I would hope that the friend that I influenced to stop from crossing the road willy-nilly without looking first would have had the wherewithal and the speed to catch the license plate of the speeding car. But that's really all that I could possibly expect as a very tangent means of influencing that person's life. But in stopping my friend from being hit by a car, I'm certainly not saying to them that I hope that by preventing their suffering at the hands of a bad driver, that I hope that someone else gets hit instead. Because, there will always be other people who don't look both ways before crossing the road, so why aren't we focusing on the bad driver's actions? I'm not focusing on the bad driver because I don't know him. If that bad driver were a friend of mine, I might be able to tell him that driving like that is dangerous and putting people's lives at risk. The problem is, he's not a friend of mine. He's some random person driving in a vehicle that my friend probably won't ever see again, let alone me, a person who wasn't even there. So if you were to ask me why I wasn't focused on the bad driver in that situation, I would ask you what exactly it is you'd expect me to be able to do about him. I'm not familiar with every individual in the world, nor am I a Time Lord that can travel back in time to explain to people I don't know about the risks of bad driving. I could take safe driving lessons in classes myself, and try to encourage the people I know to do the same. Hell, I could even change my career trajectory and become a driving instructor to be able to teach entire classes the dangers of speeding. But even in this extreme case, I'm still not going to be able to change every single bad driver in the entire world. There will still be people out there doing stupid things despite all of my efforts. And since I can't prevent everyone in the world from doing stupid things, the best thing that I can do instead is to try and prevent the people that I know and have direct influence over from being victim to the stupid decisions of other people. Some of you might still say, well, if everyone all focused equally on preventing bad drivers. Okay, how many goddamn inception layers do you want to go down here? First of all, we can't control the actions of all the bad drivers in the world, so what makes you think that we can control the actions of all the everyone in the world to get them to place more emphasis on road safety? Secondly, give people some credit already. I don't think that anyone out there is telling their friends and family, sure, drive like a jackass, there's no risks at all. Even people who decide to drive like that usually know they're taking a risk. They just don't care. They know the rules of the road, they know driving over the speed limit increases the risk of accidents, but they do it anyway because it makes them feel like a rebel, or because they're in a hurry, or for whatever other reason they deem the benefits worth the risks. But you know what? For some reason, people aren't making dumb arguments like these for preventing bad drivers, or theft, or murder, because somehow people seem to realize that saying something like teach people not to murder makes them sound like an idiot. People only say it in the context of images like this. I'm pretty sure it's because they feel a sense of justification in being able to make generalizations about those evil men, drugging drinks, raping, doing all of those awful things that men do because we never teach them that any of these things are wrong. Except, we do. At least in Western cultures, many things in our lives exist to get us to understand not only simply what the rules and laws are and that we need to obey them, but also the basic concept that hurting others is wrong in itself regardless. Unfortunately, there are people out there that don't listen. There are people out there who murder and steal. There are people who drug drinks and take advantage of others. And they do it despite the law, not because they're ignorant of the laws. So what can we do in the face of someone who behaves in such a way? We can make sure the people we know and care about are informed so that they can be wary and protect themselves. So to wrap it up and bring it back to the original image, in fact, I'm not saying that I hope he rapes the other girl, and frankly, you're an asshole for trying to pin that on me. Maybe if you want the other girl just as safe as you want yourself safe, you should go and tell the rapist to stop raping like some twisted episode of Dora the Explorer. Wait, you're saying you don't know the rapist? As in, you therefore have no control over what the rapist does? As in, your moral grandstanding is entirely pointless because no one in your little scenario has any control over that person? Oh, darn. Maybe instead, if that girl had had someone she cared about making sure she knew tips to keep herself safe, you know, the person you're lecturing in the starting image, you would both be able to avoid the crazy person that nobody in the scenario knew and could control, and nobody would get raped. Neato. Thanks for watching, and I hope to see you all in the next one.